Lost in translation. Dvar Torah for Parashat Behar. Let's do a short exercise. What's the common thread connecting the different parts of Parashat Behar? The conventional way to explore this topic would be to list the subjects and see how they relate. This isn't necessarily an easy task, as not all commentators always agree on the meaning of each word. There might even be unclarity as to where each topic begins and ends, and even if we accept the boundaries and agree on the word meanings, the connection between them may not always be clear. Where can we find these points reflected in a simple parasha like Behar? An example could be finding the heart of the story. Is it the land, the people, or Hashem? Are we dealing with a sequence of ecological, social, or religious commandments? Each possibility has textual support, guiding words such as land, slave, and Hashem Elokim, and some commentators have sided with each of them. The question of boundaries is also an important one. Should we end the topic as the Mesorah and the division of the sages in the weekly Torah portions do in Perek Vav Pasuk Bet with the observance of Shabbat and the temple, I am Hashem, like the Christians' division at the end of Perek Hey, for the children of Israel are my servants, with the prohibition of idolatry in Perek Vav Pasuk Aleph, and you shall not place an Even Maskit in your land, or perhaps somewhere else entirely? All the ideas suggested above have a common denominator. They're logical and based on what's written, the two central tools of the literal interpreter, the Pashtan. The central question becomes which point to focus on. The Darshan has other tools in his arsenal. Those who've studied Talmud can identify with the following experience. How does one learn the commandment to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah? Simple. Our parasha says, and you shall sound a blast, Torah, of the shofar on the 7th month, and it's written in Rosh Hashanah, and on the 7th month, on the 1st of the month, it shall be a day of blasting, Torah, for you. Because both mention the 7th month, we learn that the blast of Rosh Hashanah is a shofar blast, and not, for example, a horn, trumpet, or with using your mouth. The Darshan also chose to focus on what is written. However, instead of using what would today be called logic, he turns to association. The verse has a superfluous 7th month. Where have I seen a 7th month in the context of Torah? Oh, Rosh Hashanah, a biblical commandment that is not explicitly written in the Torah, and the Avran Pashtan can only scratch his head in confusion and bewilderment. The Talmud doesn't stop with a Gzera Shava or a Hikesh from similar words or topics. Many Gemarot span many more pages than expected because the name of a particular Tana or Amorah is mentioned, and the Chachamim of the Talmud decided that this was the appropriate time to teach everything he has ever said. Although this is not exactly the conventional way to study exact sciences, the human mind is also associative, and the Torah was, after all, given to human beings. And I want to suggest a third and different way to examine verses. Once again, we will look at the words, but instead of understanding their meaning, we will try to listen to them. We tend to think that the parasha opens with the laws of Shemitah, but that's mainly because that's how Onkelos translated it, based on the concept that appears in Sefer Dvarim. In our parasha, the Torah does not speak of Shemitah, but of Shvita. Why does this matter? Because in every topic in the parasha, one variation or another of the letters Shin Bet will be featured, whether be it Shabbat, or Lashevet, or Lashuv, Toshav, Chishev, Sova, or Chashav, or even Sheva. Why does this matter? Because behind the context, Tanakh could have a melody that can influence its reading. Sometimes we translate the Torah into other languages. Would the Pshat and Drash be affected? If done well, not necessarily. On the other hand, the melody the Torah conveys in our parasha can't survive even Onkelos' wonderful translation into Aramaic, a sister language to Biblical Hebrew. 7, Sheva, remains the same, but Shabbat becomes Shemitah, and the Ger, Toshav, becomes a Totav. Other languages have their melodies, but this melody, the melody of Tanakh, should go on. In loving memory of my beloved and heroic student Amichai Shimon, Ben Yishai Bebatia Rubin Hashem Yikom Damo, Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.